I don't know why I like it so much, but she howls and she just goes, woo! And it just makes me happy. Like,
so tall redheads who have a voice.
She's not redhead. She's like a whitehead.
No, hold on. I'm marking down once again. What's Frank's waifus here? Gotta check. Got the list going here.
Yeah, she's great.
We'll figure it out.
She has a tail and ears and.
Okay, so bestiality. Okay, we're learning a lot again. Every episode we learn something new about Frank. What's up, people? Welcome to our little traveling podcast shack we call Taco Otaku, where we serve up the hottest takes in anime and video games. My name is Ray, and I'll be taking care of you today. And on today's menu, we have the hottest, trendiest, most popular video game of all time, or at least this year, Zelda. We have the biggest panel you need for the Zelda. I brought the best of the Zelda bunch for this episode of the podcast. So if you come for Zelda, you got that. We got some news what's going on in the industry, and of course, what we've been watching, we've been playing. So now it's time for me to introduce my panel. And like I said, I only brought the best. So Frank, how you doing? How you doing today? You doing good?
Well, I don't feel so good to be called that. Like, the other guys are gonna show up later.
Nah, they don't listen. So Frank, no, this is the podcast, Frank. It's fine. They'll never know. They just know it's just you and me. We're the best. The cream of the crop today, Frank. It's all we need.
I'm a bit down today. You know why? We're just watching something.
Playoffs can be tough, Frank. They can be tough.
I know, but
don't worry, Frank. We'll make it up. We'll make it up soon. We'll make it up here.
Well, gotta clear my head.
Gotta clear your mind. Now it's time for anime, video games. Take all that, the real life, business, sports, all that. Get out of here. It's just good vibes here. And we got a good vibes because, like I said, Tears of the Kingdom's out. We sat down, played it over the weekend. Got our first impressions this week of this episode. So enjoy that, listeners, hopefully. But before we get there, it's time we gotta do our news. We haven't done news in a minute, so I got a few news articles from the gaming and anime industry. And up first here, Frank, I got some quick announcement that Oshi no Ko, remember the crazy anime we talked about last episode with the roller coaster ride?
The crazy anime?
Yes, the one I had a cover for Ivan last week.
Oh, right.
That roller coaster. For those, if you're interested, listen to the last episode. You can check it out. But that show is actually indeed getting an English dub and will be out on May 24th. So we get hopefully our lives get a little bit easier, Frank, come the 24th of this month.
Well, I hope I can watch that one because it's not where I watch my stuff.
We'll figure it out, Frank. It's on the internet. Everything's on the internet, Frank. There's a will, there's a way. Trust me, Frank. We'll be all right.
I just got to pull away from Slam Dunk.
Slam Dunk. The sports animes. Gotta love them. Let's see. What else here? Sticking with anime. Apparently, and I was surprised when I looked this up. Apparently, Psycho Pass is getting a new movie, and it's coming out on July 14th out here. Did you know this, Frank?
Didn't even know there was a old movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I did see. It was okay. That's all I remember. But I don't know. Looking at the picture, apparently it seems to be some kind of, I guess, a sequel to, but like it's not like, because certain characters in season 1 show up in the poster, so I'm assuming they're here in this movie, despite I question how they could be here in this movie without spoilers.
Yeah, don't spoil me, because I think I've only seen the first 2 seasons.
No, you're still good then.
Yeah, because, I was
There's
watching.
a 3rd season now, I think, right?
Yeah, I was looking up the openings a while back, and I think the 3rd season it's like a whole new cast or something. I don't know. I didn't recognize anybody.
That's all I know about the 3rd season. I haven't seen it though.
Or it's like a prequel.
Question mark. I just know it's different characters from the first 2 seasons.
I feel like it might be before the original one.
Prequel.
But I have to catch up.
Right, but apparently this is because the 2 main characters from season 1 are here, so it's kind of like, I wonder where this fits in the timeline. But the anime movies and their timelines make no sense. Dragon Ball Z movies for people who need evidence to support this theory. Just
time
look there.
Travel.
Exactly. There's always a time machine just around the corner. Another speaking about Taco Otaku history podcast. When last season we were talking about Trigun Stampede, the new one, apparently it must have done very well because the publishers of the original Trigun manga, Dark Horse, is re-releasing it out here at the end of the year, and they're going to do a deluxe edition. It's going to be a bigger print, and it'll have like 2 volumes in one, and it's both the original Trigun and Trigun Maximum, which is basically the continuation of the story. So Trigun fans rejoice. We did it, Frank. Thanks to us, we brought back Trigun the manga too.
Thanks to us.
Thanks to us. That's why I have the evidence right here, Frank. The numbers never lie. But yeah, I guess look forward to that. And on apparently December 6th is when I'm going to start releasing them, and little by little be popping them out. But since we talked about it on that episode for the last anime season, I kind of do want to pick this up since I always wanted to read it. Now there's a new deluxe edition.
This is the manga.
Mm-hmm, the manga's coming out.
Oh, okay.
I guess they're re-releasing it because it hasn't been in print in some years, but they're reprinting it in a super edition.
They're doing it physical copy?
A physical manga copy.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Go check out your Barnes and Noble's. What's the last bookstore open? The last one I went to was Borders, and woo.
Go to Walmart.
Yeah, pretty much. They have. I'm sure Amazon. Don't worry. Amazon has it all. They'll hook you up. Jeff knows everyone, so don't worry. But yeah, I was excited about that, and I kind of do want to start collecting them because it's my 90s love. I gotta have them all. Gotta catch them all.
I don't have space. I mean, I gotta get rid of the stuff I already have.
Just those things, you just throw them away, Frank. They're no good to you. They're worthless to you now. It's time for Trigun. And then let's see here. What else do I have here? One more anime bit news for those who are looking. Speaking about manga, there is a new Viz manga app out there that you can get on your iPhone and Android devices. And it's actually a pretty neat app. I checked out a little bit. I haven't got a chance to really play with it. But it is a official legal way to read a bunch of classic manga and new manga through Viz Media. They own quite a bit of things out here license-wise through Shonen Jump and Sunday. It's either Shonen Sunday. I think Shonen Sunday or Sunday Shonen, one or the other. Some of those titles include, I was curious, is Inuyasha and all Romiko Takashi's work is there. Junji Ito, like Uzumaki's there. The Never Ending Case Close is on there apparently. Nana, another classic. So yeah, a lot of classics, a lot of new stuff going on there. And you can watch or read as much manga as you want on your heart's content legally for $2 a month. Seems like a decent price to me.
You haven't convinced me yet.
There's more. There's plenty. Check it out, Frank. There might be hidden gems.
Does it have One Piece?
No, because that is on the Shonen Jump app, which they also produce, but because it's exclusively different. But also, I think there's some kind of subscription. If only Miles was here, because Miles is better about this. But I'm pretty sure you can read current and old One Piece on the Shonen Jump app, which is also maybe $2 a month? Something like that.
What about Hunter x Hunter?
Also on the Shonen Jump app.
My Hero Academia?
Also on the Shonen Jump.
Yeah, I'm not interested in.
Oh, I tried, Frank. I tried. There's good stuff on there. You like Inuyasha.
But I've seen Inuyasha.
But have you read Inuyasha?
Does it change?
It's very...
Really?
Sure.
I feel like you're being technical.
Well, you have to read to find out.
I don't know. Usually I read stuff because I get hooked in on anime and I catch up and I want to see what happens next. But besides that, I'm not gonna go and let's see what this random thing is.
You gotta explore, Frank.
I would, but there's just not enough time.
Now I'm curious to bring with that mindset. How does that work with the Tears of the Kingdom? Now, if you don't want to explore, don't want to look at new things, you still hang on that floating island, perhaps. We'll see. We'll save it when we get there.
Too early to say.
Too early. Fair enough, Frank. We'll save it. What else here? So I got one piece of all the big Nintendo news. Speaking about Zelda, I guess might as well get out of the way. So they just announced that Tears of the Kingdom sold 10 million copies alone over the 3-day weekend of its release date on Friday. It's the fastest selling Zelda game of all time, and apparently ties with, I think, the last Pokemon entry, which I don't know if is impressive or not, because Pokemon is crazy insane. But Nintendo did a good day today, this last weekend. Sold a couple copies. I know they got my money, that's for sure.
I always hear these big numbers, and it's always like a new record, and they never registered. Oh, okay.
If you had money in the company, Frank, maybe it would be a little bit more excited.
I just feel like I hear 50 million, and then the next time around I hear 10 million, and it's another record. I'm like, how? I don't get it. I don't get these
records, numbers. Frank. Records. Very excited over there.
But I'm glad it's doing well.
I think it's safe to say, Frank, there'll be another Zelda game after this one.
Oh, I was holding my breath.
Whoa, that's I know, I'm a little crazy out here, taking crazy bets.
I'm just always worried. I remember when Wind Waker came out. The week it came out, I went to go get it. I kept insisting to my cousin, and he was like, "Why are you in such a hurry?" I'm like, I'm worried they'll run out. And he said, trust me, they won't run out of Zelda.
Have you ever seen that experience where you couldn't find a game that you wanted to get that was brand new?
Yeah.
What was it?
Just now. The Final Fantasy Theorem.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
And
there is a physical copy?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Metroid Prime.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Metroid Prime was hard to find. I forgot about that already.
So both of those I tried for weeks, and somehow I was not even looking for it anymore, and I found it.
Oh, there you go. It comes to you.
So it happens.
The only game that comes to my mind was, I think it must have been the first new Super Mario Brothers on the Wii. For whatever reason, I wasn't. Well, once again, I'm talking about on the podcast. I'm not the biggest Mario guy, but I was just like, oh, it seems popular enough, and I have friends come over every so often. I should get my hands on it so we can play if people want to check it out. And all of a sudden, I went to Best Buy, I went to Toys R Us, I went to every place you could think of where to find games. I could not find the stupid game for some bloody reason. And I was just like, this is the first time this has ever happened to me where I cannot find a brand new game that just came out. They're literally sold out of copies. And I think I want to say I found it at like a Sam's Club like a week or two after it came out. And it was one of those, I saw it in the cage and then I was like, because I never saw a ticket for it. And I asked them, like, can I buy these up for buying? Like, yes, yeah, well then I will take a copy, please.
Yeah, I mean, what usually happens to me is can't find the special edition.
Oh, now collector, that's a different ball game right there.
Pisses me off. I feel like Nintendo should know me. They're like, hey, he's the guy that buys everything. Like he has.
Just ship it to him.
No, just at least set one apart for me. Like
for Frank, put it right there.
I'm assuming they want to sell them. I don't know what the deal is.
I'll have to ask Mr. Bowser. I'll talk to him and see what we can do for you.
They should have like a lifetime membership where it's kind of like a season tickets, but like a lifetime, you're going to buy it, like, and you just add your franchise. Like, yeah, everything Zelda, just, bill me. Like,
the only way to get in the exclusive club is one question. Did you buy a Wii U? Yes? Oh, you're in. You get in it. Get in it. You bought a Wii U? Oh, we thank you. Thank you for buying that piece of garbage.
I think I bought 2.
There you go. Then you definitely should be on that list, Frank. You're definitely on that short list right there. So yeah, that was good for Nintendo. And then good news for PlayStation also is that they announced that on, what day is it? It's at the end, surprisingly a little bit early. On May 24th this month, they'll be having their PlayStation Showcase where they'll be showing their latest and latest video games out there, basically their E3, if you will. That's when they're going to have theirs. And it's going to actually be like 2 weeks before all the other like almost E3 events, since once again E3 got canceled. We talked about that also on the podcast. Nothing, PS5 titles, PSVR titles. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. They haven't had nothing on the books, so I'm kind of curious. I
just don't like VR. It makes me dizzy.
The VR, yeah, I haven't tried the PlayStation VR, though I did play the last one, and it was good and bad. It was good. It's a good entry-level VR headset, but at the same time, it's kind of ugly to go back to, especially when the Quest and all the other more modern headsets. But I'm curious. I'm just surprised because, like I said, they're 2 weeks in advance of everyone else. But, I mean, if you want to steal the headlines, I guess that's one way to do it. So I'm curious to see what's going on because, to my knowledge, I can't think of anything to look forward to on PS5. I already bought it.
Well,
play Resident Evil 4 one day, I swear.
Well, if they talk about Final Fantasy Remake Part 2.
Oh, that's true.
16, but it's almost going to come out. So.
Yeah, that's already out the door.
I hope they talk about another Tomb Raider because I really like those.
Yeah, Tomb Raider's kind of in limbo at the moment.
Don't say that.
Sorry, Frank.
This is going to turn into a Metroid Prime.
We got our Metro Prime, Frank. We got our Metro. Got to think on the positive. We got it. We do? Metro. Well, the first one came out.
Part 4?
Oh, well. You said Metroid Prime. You did say Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, well, sorry.
Hopefully Nintendo will.
Should have been specific.
You got the details. Those numbers matter here, Frank.
Oh.
Numbers matter.
Yeah, you telling me. 5.5.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully Nintendo will also announce their E3 events somewhat soon in the future. If they do, we'll let you know here on the podcast. And the last thing, I guess more on the sad news for Xbox users. So, it's Frank laugh. Good. Hey, can you tell Frank is not much of an Xbox fan?
It's just the green PlayStation.
With no Japanese games.
Right. There you go.
Exactly. So it's a pointless console for Frank.
It's a limited... No, never mind.
It's the Halo machine. And even the Halo machine doesn't mean much these days, sadly. But anyway, so the news thing was their last game, their like I guess AAA game, Redfall. I think it was Redfall's the movie. Something else. It was a big multiplayer shooter kind of game, very kind of generic Xbox game, to be honest. And that was the problem. It was another generic Xbox kind of whatever game that the reviews were kind of negative. But the head honcho over Xbox, Phil Spencer, kind of admitted, yeah, it does kind of suck, and yeah, I kind of suck, and we need to do better in the future. So it's one of those that it's interesting just to see the CEO kind of admit, like, oh, or I guess not technically CEO, or I forget what he is. He's a very important person over at Microsoft/Xbox, and to hear him be like, we're dropping the ball is kind of refreshing to hear. But also, I know they're trying to get that Activision Xbox Microsoft deal happening, so perhaps they might be treating like, oh, poor is us, woe is us. If only we had Activision to save us, with trying to get this merger happen. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like an interesting kind of two ways to think about it, this, that way, this. Because it's just, to me, it's indicative of Xbox, because Xbox's goal right now is not really like, we need to sell you this Xbox. It's more like, we need to sell you the Game Pass, which just happens, it works on Xbox, but also works on your mobile device. It also works on your PC. And once you sign up for that monthly subscription, that's where they want you to do is it's guaranteed money, just like Netflix and everyone else out there with the subscription. So it's the fact that they just can't get it together and make the subscription super enticing as it once was, considering their biggest goal was like, well, we don't have any studios, so they bought studios, and yet now that they acquired all these studios, they still can't put out like a well-received, well-selling game and entice the Game Pass. But we'll see. I mean, and I don't know if Activision is going to change things for them. If that goes through, that's still up in the air. But it's just kind of one of those interesting things with going on the Xbox side of things. But as a casual Xbox fan, I do take notice of these things and kind of curious. But I did cancel my Xbox Game Pass earlier this year, so I guess it doesn't really affect me by much. All right, so that is it for the news this week. Unless there's any news you want to share with on this podcast, Frank?
Not game related news. So sorry.
All right, then. Well, let's move on here on the podcast, and let's talk about what we've been watching, we've been playing. Since we didn't last week, we were talking nothing about the hottest, freshest anime out there for our spring preview. Check it out on the last episode of the podcast if you're interested. We didn't get a chance to talk about the other things we've been watching and playing, so that's what we're going to do today, Frank. So, Frank, let me ask you, what have you been watching, what you playing?
Well, I wish Ivan was here because he's the one that got me into Slam Dunk. And he's been on me, or he used to be, and I just haven't had time, based on, weddings and now having to play Zelda. But he told me to watch Slam Dunk, and it is very long.
That it is.
100 episodes.
Yup.
I feel you could narrow that down to 25. I don't know.
Old anime be long.
So I've been talking to Ivan, and I've been telling him a lot of negative stuff, just because I don't really want to give away what I think about it, and I can't think about it too much right now because nothing happens. Like they spend the whole episode, and it's just like they get a rebound, and then they go across the court. That's the whole. Like, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but
just a little.
I'm not far off. Like, I wish it was in English. I don't know how bad it would be. I mean, it is, but I'm not watching it in English.
I was gonna say, I think there is a dub. I've never heard it.
And if I could change it on Crunchyroll, I would, but I don't know how to change the language, and that's why a lot of times I watch stuff in English dub. So I feel I would enjoy it more if it was English dub, because then I could just not have to focus completely on it.
Play some more Zelda, perhaps,
and play Zelda while I watch it, at least until it gets more interesting.
Right.
All right. So getting down to it, what I dislike about it: one, the pace, and then two, and probably most importantly, the art. I do not like the art.
Oh,
I feel it's ugly.
Oh.
I feel that most characters look like men.
Well, they are, aren't they?
Well, no, even the girls look man.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get you. Okay.
The main example for a girl looking like a man is the assistant to the basketball team, the girl with black hair.
I think I know who you're talking about.
The manager or something. I don't know.
Right.
The only girl that works on the team.
Basically.
She looks manly. I mean, if
she likes to work out.
So I don't like that. I don't like the slow pace. The story so far is not like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? It's just happening. But based on what Ivan keeps telling me, which I kind of keep telling him, don't tell me nothing, just All I need to know is that you like it, and I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it 100% chance. Like, I'll finish it. But he's like raising my expectations so much that maybe I'm liking it less because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still expect that I'll enjoy it by the end. Because I'm not very strict on, or I'm easy to please, I should say.
I was gonna say you're a nice, optimistic fellow here, Frank. That's my job, to be negative and realistic.
But so far, it's nothing to write home about. Like, I'm not gonna bring her home to my parents and introduce. So,
Mom and Dad, this is Slam Dunk.
Yeah,
Slam
like,
Dunk, this is Mom and Dad.
Yeah, watch it in Japanese dub, or whatever. So what I like about it, the opening. I like the opening a lot. It gives me, even though I think it's a 90s anime,
Yes,
it gives me 80s vibes.
it does feel like it for sure.
The song, I like it a lot. The basketball shown in the intro is the best basketball in the whole series so far. Like, there's this one part where I think it's the girl that he likes.
Mm-hmm.
She's playing basketball and she does this move. I'm like, whoa, that looks smooth. Like, and when it's, the anime, it's so, they do something and they just freeze it, and it's not very fluid, and I can't really tell what's going on because of the way it's, I don't want to say the way it's recorded, because
animated.
The way it's animated is just, it's almost like it's trying to show me panels, and
right, you can see, yeah, exactly,
and I want to see like
the smooth
fluid,
yeah,
like
in betweens.
Yeah, so I have to use my imagination a lot to understand what's going on, and I wonder if people that don't watch basketball would get it.
Right.
So maybe it's because it's still not like any official games, and it's still
just
kind of
practice and drills.
Yeah, so much practice. And yeah, I don't care about a lot of stuff that's going on yet. Like the whole thing with right now, what's happening is the Sakaguchi, I think his name.
That sounds about right.
He's trying to get recruited by the judo guy.
Oh, right.
And I feel like maybe it's a lot of fluff, but because he goes, join the team, and he goes, no. And then, do you want the picture? Yes. Okay, join my team. And then they do that like 4 times in a row, and they're like, are you wasting time? I don't know. So
got 100 episodes here, Frank. Got to stretch it out here. In 5 minutes, the show will be over.
I really want to watch it, get it over with, but it's just so I think about it. I want to play Zelda. I want to do all this other stuff. So that's what I been mainly watching, video game related. Or can I talk about that, or do you want to talk about it?
I mean, I'll talk about one. Let's pass the baton. Since it's just 2 of spring, I'll talk about it. Let me talk about the slightly easier one for me. I've got 2 video games here I want to talk about on my weeks. The first one being the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I keep forgetting the hell the name of the game is, but I'm pretty sure that's the name of the game. So there's 2 games in this game, I guess series, franchise, whatever you want to call it, because it's a spin-off of the Ace Attorney series. And I've been talking about a little bit here and there on the podcast, but I finally finished the first game. So in that first game, there are 5 cases to solve. And I've been talking about, I've been a little disappointed with the story, the characters, the development, the pacing. And sadly, it didn't really change comes to the end of the game. The 5th case is the best case by far. It's the only case I was actually interested in, had me attention, actually made me want to be like, oh, let me put on my detective hat and figure out this crime, what happened here. So the last case was the best part of it. But it's just at the end of the day, the same thought of like, well, if you ever played the first Ace Attorney games, and in particular the first 3 games of the trilogy, which is how if you wanted to play those games, you could buy them on Switch and Xbox and everything else these days. That'd be the way you play it. And it's very similar story beats, very similar characters, just not as interesting as the first time through. So it's a little kind of boring to, kind of go through the same steps again, but now with these slightly different characters and a slightly different, more than, because it takes place like in the 1800s in London. So yeah, it's a different setting, but you're still solving cases. You're still a Japanese dude trying to figure it all out. Well, let me talk about one positive. The one positive thing I wanted to mention is in this game, because the original 3 games of trilogy were all in 2D pixel art. So there was no, if you rotate the camera, there's nothing to see, right? Because it's a flat image. But since the Ace Attorney, I think 4 or 5, I think it's 5 up, and this prequel series, they're actually 3D models. And I thought they did a pretty good job of recreating the like 2D anime art, but in 3D. And they actually utilize those models pretty well in some of the animations when like story beats are happening. So little things like that I did catch and notice and like, oh, that's a pretty nice improvement. Maybe they could take that on into the next Ace Attorney games. But yeah, at the end of the day, I had more negatives than it wasn't terrible, but it's just, I guess, disappointing as a pretty hardcore Ace Attorney fan. I talked about it on my first episode of the podcast. One of my favorite games of all time, the third game in this series. And then the biggest, I guess, annoyance or downside thing about beating it is I was in a rush to beat that fifth case in the first game, so I had time to play Zelda this week, and I did do it, luckily. But the thing is at the end of the day, the first game is nothing but like Ace Attorney, the setup arc. It's nothing but setup. And at the end of the game, it goes like, oh, remember all those plot lines we set up? Well, you better play the second game, fucker, because we're not going to tell you anything. So
They actually said that?
no, it sure felt like it did. That's how I read the screen at the end. When the credits before, that's what I read. See you next game, fucker.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I was a little bummed out by that because like it just really didn't answer any of the big mysteries it was teasing and set it up. But I guess that's why Shippuden exists, all right, folks. So we'll see. And luckily the only plus thing is I think in Japan they were two separate games that you had to buy separately, but now they released it out here in West as a collection of the first two games. So I already have the second game. I don't know when I'll get to it. I do want to get to it because, like I said, I'm a big enough fan of the franchise that I do want to play it. But at the same time, it's gonna, because right now after Zelda, it's Resident Evil. After Resident Evil, it's Fire Emblem again, and then after Fire Emblem, it's Advance Wars 2, and then maybe after that, it's the second Phoenix Wright prequel game. So yeah, that's my agenda this week. So a little bummed out on Ace Attorney, but at the same time, I'll still keep playing it, and you should still play the first 6 games of the series because they're still amazing. 6 games?
Oh my.
It's a good time. You'll have a good time. Well, maybe not you can skip the 4th one. So make it 5 games. I'll make it easier for 5 games. You can skip the 4th game. So back to you, Frank. What else?
Well, I guess I'll talk about the games because that's what I've been doing mostly. So last time I talked about Fire Emblem, probably. Well, basically, I am done with Fire Emblem for now.
This is Fire Emblem Engage.
Yes. Sorry, Fire Emblem Engage. After many hours of playing it, I got to the final boss, and the final boss beat me. The final boss said, "You need
get strong.
It's too early to.
You're 100 years too early.
Yeah,
to fight
something
me.
like the classic line. So I want to talk about what I like and don't like about Fire Emblem. Now that I've technically almost completed it.
I've almost beat it.
I just,
I have a good idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the happy ending. Yeah, I mean, because I died. I don't know if you ever die in the game.
No, I always win, so I don't know what that's like.
You don't know what failures are like.
Exactly.
You don't know what it's like to get down and rising up and.
Nope. I just keep winning, Frank.
What a life of luxury you live.
Exactly.
So it's only happened to me during this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually when I lose, I do the whole reverse time thing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I have completely died like 4 times.
Oh.
And basically it just says game over. But if you actually die in the last battle, it has an extra scene.
It is like a game over, you lost it all. So
very quickly, what I dislike about the game is the music. Not that it was bad, but do you know the music that you get? You go to this place and you can purchase it, and it's like deep music from the old games.
Oh yeah.
And then I was thinking that music you were gonna be able to play it in Somanel.
Somanel, I think that's right.
But you could only play the crappy like 4 songs that they have.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
And then you have these great songs.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta go all the way to your room to play it.
Yeah.
And then you have to be stuck in that one. It's not like you can turn it on in your room and walk around.
Right.
You have to be stuck there listening to it. And it's like, what's the point of this? Because I would have liked it if you could like play it.
Switch it in battle.
Or
just walking around the town.
Yeah, because you spend a lot of time in the town.
True.
So that was a bit disappointing because they had all these great stuff, but it's just like I doubt that anybody would go and listen to them. So that's one thing that disappointed me. Another thing that disappointed me was the story. It was fine up until the end where I feel I got lost, and it was like, wait, I feel like it kind of turned into Bleach maybe Dragon Ball, where it's like, well, I knew you were gonna do that, and that's why I was
did this.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I should get into specific for spoilers' sakes, but it was just like, why? Why did you do that? And then like, if you were thinking this, why would you do that?
Right.
So I'll say one example. It's one of the bad guys, and basically they would all do this. You would beat them, and they're like, well, now I agree with you, and it's like,
right.
And it's like, and so I'm gonna help you. It's like, why are you helping me? And if you're gonna help me from the start, why? And then they try to make them good, where it's like, yeah, now family is all I care about, but all their actions have been like cruel, and even towards their quote unquote family. So that was weird. I don't know if they realized their mistakes halfway through production, and they're like, well, we've gone too far. They did like the Harold and Kumar, where they leave the room and they take like a few steps. I forgot my hat. We've gone too far. We can't.
It's too late.
So yeah, that was weird. The DLC, I did play it. I had to. I'm ashamed to say this, but I had to put it on easy just to get through it. It was
Frank.
It was ridiculously hard. If I could have my own like team, I would have left it on hard. But it just predetermines, your.
Oh, right, because it's its own separate stuff and characters, right?
Yeah, and the stuff you can carry over, it's really hard to build up. And I didn't know you could train in this game.
Train, referring to?
Yeah, scrimmages. I didn't know you.
Oh,
I didn't know because for some reason I kind of remember when
like fighting the random thugs on the map.
Yeah, I didn't know you could get experience like that.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought I saw a message that said you can do these fights, but you're not gonna get any experience. I'm like, then why am I doing them?
Oh, I see what you mean.
I'm not gonna do it for like 500 gold or whatever.
Right, just for money or some like an item or something not as important.
And if I would have known that, I would have been doing them, and I would have, probably not lose against the final boss.
That would have helped. That would have helped a little. XP is nice.
And I think you can do them over and over again, so that's probably my path to winning. The problem is that you have to wait a day to do them, if I'm not mistaken. And the way to change that is to change the time on the Switch. And I'm not gonna be going through that whole circus to.
You love the Animal Crossing time travel.
Yeah, no, this is too much for me. Like, I'd rather just wait the day or something. But that I also, I don't know. I wonder. I feel like I made a big mistake. Like,
I made a huge mistake.
Yeah, I feel like knowing what I know now, I probably should have played it in normal and then gone back to playing it hard, because the way I see, not hard, maddening.
Right.
The way I see it is that maddening is not for someone that doesn't know what they want. Like, I feel like you need to know who your team is gonna be,
right? All the mechanics and how the game works.
You need to know what skills you're gonna go for. You need to know who you're gonna want to marry and stuff like that.
Right.
Or who you're gonna be buddies with and stuff like that. So because I was playing the game and I was like trying to get everything, like, oh, I haven't been buddies with this guy, let me get some support.
Right.
Or like, I'm not sure what this skill does, let me try it out. I kind of like spread myself too thin, and now the bad guys in the final level take me too long to kill, and they keep coming out, and it's like, and that's why I can't beat it, because I'm strong enough to survive, but then they just keep coming.
Right, slowly losing for sure.
Slowly they're overwhelming, and it's not like I can just rush the boss, because I have to kill
the minions,
the mini bosses, to destroy the shield. So it's like, and that's why I can't beat it. And if I didn't have like, the reason I stopped playing it was not because I was frustrated. It was because I wanted to stop coming here and say, well, I was playing Fire Emblem again. So I feel I got pretty far, and I said I have to move on so I can start talking about other things. But I did like the ending. I liked the final boss. I thought he was like too like, I'm just evil and I'm doing this because I'm bad, and I felt that it wasn't the case, so that was refreshing for me.
I see.
And then I like the whole over the top stuff that they do, like engage,
the anime bits,
and then the whole ending scenes were kind of like, from an anime. and I enjoy it. Like I feel like I've been enjoying a lot of what they're doing. It's not like I wouldn't recommend it for most. Well, not most, but I can't say I would recommend it for everybody because some people might get put off by it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I love that. So, I'm done with it for now. Hopefully, I can catch up on games and games don't come up too fast, but they're kind of ganging up on me now.
It's summertime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Octopath and Zelda right now, and Final Fantasy
is around the corner.
Which one? 16 is around the corner. There's another one, the Jedi one.
Oh, that's already out.
I'll
Survivor, I think.
Yeah, so that one, yeah.
I still haven't played, or that's a lie. I didn't finish the first one. I kind of lost interest in the first one. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just. Well, it doesn't help. I haven't been a bit of a Star Wars fan for a long time now, so there's that. But we'll see. Maybe it'll change my mind. Perhaps I've heard mixed things on the new game, but I'm still curious. Already? Yeah.
Oh my!
Came out like last week or the week before. Okay. But it's one of those games like I'll see you maybe on Black Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So that was my journey with Fire Emblem Engage, and I'll pass the baton to you and talk about Octopath later.
All right. Fair enough. So my other game I wanted to talk about here was the Advance Wars, in particular Advance Wars 1 from the reboot cap that came out.
It's not too early to talk about war.
It's apparently it's a whole thing with Nintendo and their choices. We were talking about before the podcast. I'll save everyone. Listen, episode I think 1 again if you want to hear my rant about Nintendo's decision making on that. But anyway, so I did actually the other week I did complete the first campaign all over again, and excuse me. I did before that I did actually replay the original campaign. So it was interesting to compare and contrast the differences between the two. Overall I did like it. It's still Advance Wars. The gameplay's still amazing. Overall, I was a little disappointed that in this reboot camp, this reimagining, the bigger AAA budget question, they charge you full price. I'm going to say AAA budget for Nintendo. There's voice acting in the game, but it's very like minor, and only like once in a while there are actually voice recorded lines for certain characters and certain scenarios. So it was just kind of disappointing to be like, well, this is the first time we could actually, bring life to these characters with these animations and this and that, things we didn't have back in the day on the old Game Boy Advance. But they kind of dropped the ball and, cheaped out on the voice acting. So I was kind of disappointed by that. The art change direction. I guess the difference in between the very pixel art kind of cell shading stuff is very different. It's very more, I guess, kind of like simple, chibi, cute anime, and then the whole video game models are very like Toy Story like, as I mentioned before, where toy soldiers and toy tanks, not real people going to war, not killing each other. So it didn't, I don't know, it didn't work for me. I didn't really like it. I get it, and I guess this is once again the things they had to do to release this game out, but once again, most conflicts in general, worst conflict, I mean, we could talk about Tears of the Kingdom. There's an evil man out there trying to take over the world, so if that isn't war, I don't know what is. So there's that. Anyway. The big positive thing, though, about the remake of the Advance Wars is the music. They went back and got the tracks and kind of like remixed them, I guess. And I thought all the remixing was did a really good job and figured out like this is the best part of the song. Let's do this, let's do that, make little tweaks to bring it up for a more modern generation. So I did like the handling there of transitioning from Game Boy Advance to the Switch these days. And what else did I have? I did like the fact that in the campaign. So in the first game, there are a couple situations where you could pick the CO, the captain, who you're going to take control of, and you're kind of stuck on this path of like, okay, you went with Andy or whoever, so now you're going to this mission in this scenario, fighting this map on this campaign and these units. And then that's it for the game. You can't go back to the other scenarios and play those other maps with those other COs. But in this version, they actually let you go back and jump into any campaign, and then you could do all the other scenarios that you technically didn't do, and you can like 100% the game if you want that way. So I thought that was kind of cool, a nice new add-on that I don't remember was in the original version. So you could play all the different scenarios and all the maps and see what you missed out on. And then the last thing of positive note, I do like, because this game actually has Advance Wars 1 and 2. Advance Wars 1 and 2 have different modes and campaigns of different... So the maps are... It's like, how do I explain the differences? So the maps are basically the same, But the difference is the COs you fight, and then plus the power-ups. So in the first game, Advance Wars, there's only like one power-up move that every unit or every commander has that is unique to themselves. But in Advance Wars 2, they introduced 2 special moves, one being like your like lesser, easier thing, and then your supercharge move, if you will. And in this game, when you do the like side missions, the war zone, not the campaign stuff, they actually give you the option to change the rules on the fly if you want to do Advance Wars 1 rules or Advance Wars 2 rules. So I like the fact that, hey, you could get both of them on the fly, and it's nice and easy and makes sense as a nerd who's played the crap out of both of those games quite a bit. Personally, I like Advance Wars 2's mode and settings a little bit more, so I'll probably play more of that. But I did stop. I mentioned earlier I did stop after Advance Wars 1 because there's a lot of other games I just mentioned before I have to get to. So I am very looking forward to it because personally Advance Wars 2 is a much better game than Advance Wars 1. So I do look forward to playing it, and I just have to beat some other great games to get there. But hopefully I'll get there sooner than later. So yeah, Advance Wars still good. Wish they did more, but well, of course not. I'm a big nerd, so of course I'm going to pick and choose everything. They don't do what I want them to do, Frank. God damn it. Miyamoto, didn't you get my note? All right, Frank. It's up to you. Save us, Frank. What else you got?
No. Well, after Fire Emblem, I started playing Octopath Traveler 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I can already tell it's better than the first one.
Oh.
At least to me it is. The story is better. Like strangely enough, which the thing I didn't like about the first one was pretty much all the stories.
Oh.
So they were all right. It was just I felt that they ended too short. Right when they were picking up, they were like, "Oh, we're done." So I was like a bit disappointed with that. The secret ending kind of does make up for the lack of finale in each story.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there is a finale, I feel like it wasn't like grand enough. But it's hard to get the secret ending in the original. Back to the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the characters, and it's I hate it when I like all the characters. Cause then I'm like, oh,
which one do I go with?
Maybe I should try to say the things that I don't like about it.
Okay.
And then this was a problem in the original one too. In this game, each character is unique because they have their unique job. Their unique job, which other characters can use, but like that character is always that job. So you can have a sub job, but you always have to be the job that they originally are.
Right.
After that, there's like non-combat skills that they have, where I kind of look at them like in town skills. So, for example, the merchant can buy stuff from NPCs. And at night, because this is a whole new thing where at night your skill changes, and at night, a lot of stuff changes at night. So at night, the merchant can hire the NPCs to help him in battle. And the warrior can in the day can challenge people, and if he wins, he gets a skill. And at night, he bribes them for information. So these are all like basically you can fight them, you can get an item from them, you can get information of the NPC, and you can knock them out. So there's basically 4 things you can do, and all the characters have 2 that they can do, but in a different way. So the merchant can buy the stuff, but the dancer, if she's high enough level, they just give it to her because she's charming. And the thief can steal it at a percent chance. So it just goes to like which one do you want. Personally, I think the dancer has the best one because they just 100% chance.
Right, just charm their way.
The merchant is also 100% as long as you have the money. And the thief, that one's the one that's
how stealthy are you?
Yeah, like and then if you fail, you get your reputation goes down, and then you can't do anything. So the problem is that I like getting all the information. I like getting all the items from the NPCs, and sometimes you need to knock them out to get to a certain spot. And I want to have my team that I'm working on, or my team that I like, and then I go into town and I gotta switch the characters, which I don't mind, but in this game you have to go to the pub, talk to the bartender, and tell him you want to switch your team. And
I do that all the time every time I go to the bar.
It's just a little bit tedious, and it's especially annoying when you're out in the world and you find an NPC and you're like, damn, I don't have the right skill to get the item. And it's like, I gotta go all the way back to town, get my buddy, come back, and so that's the part that I wish it was more user friendly.
Right.
I kind of get it because it kind of makes you want to like. I think the game wants you to make decisions and like set a team that you want and stuff like that. But it's just a bit like, for me, it's like, I'm gonna do it anyways. Can you just save me the time?
Right.
So that's the part I don't like. The other part I don't like, I'm trying to think. No, that's pretty much it.
Everything else is perfect.
I wouldn't say perfect, but it doesn't annoy me. I guess it's just little things like I wish that the maps were easier to read. Anyways, that's another like thing that I kind of like. I kind of want to fast travel, but I kind of want to walk because just in case I miss a treasure.
No, I see.
So those are the two things I don't like. Now to the parts that I like, because there's probably more. Again, the characters I like a lot. The music, I like the music in the original one too, and this one very similar, but it's refreshing at the same time. And the stories are like, I thought I wouldn't like the merchant, but after seeing his story, I'm like, hey, no, you know, this guy, I like this guy. This is my dude.
This is my man right here.
I kind of regret who I picked for my main, because you have to pick a character, and you can't switch out that party member out, which kind of bugs me, because you know I like to work on everybody, and then that guy's like level 30 and everybody else is level 20. I'm like, damn, this doesn't look right. And then for this one, I'm gonna just really quickly go through. And this one, the warrior's cool because I think his story is kind of like, it kind of makes sense if he's the main character. Cause so the warrior has a good story. He looks cool. He's strong, like basically the hero of the game.
Right.
The merchant, his voice might bother some people because he's like, hey, he's kind of like country,
like a southern accent going on.
Yeah. But I think like he has a good heart, and I just think his gimmick is like, you know, he's a business person and stuff like that. I like him a lot. And I think merchants are overpowered in this game. Like, he has a skill where basically he dodges everything no matter what. And then he can rest. So he recovers HP and SP, which is super powerful.
That sounds pretty good.
The dancer, she is probably one of the more boring ones, but she's kind of I like the way she talks. She talks country too. But it's different than the merchant for some reason. The thief, she's cool. She looks cool, and she's kind of like the one that's lived the hardest life, stuff like that. I feel like she's weak combat wise, but she's essential in bosses.
Oh, I see.
Because she's the one that can lower defense.
Oh, okay.
The apothecary, I think she's overpowerful as in battle. And her story is pretty cool because she's trying to get her memory back. The cleric, I thought this was gonna be the character that I hated, but he's actually pretty cool. Like he's mean and I like it. Yeah. But he's mean in a like a subtle way. Like, I don't know. They say stuff and it's just his comebacks are like, oh, I'm missing I want to talk about the beast girl. What do they call? What's her job? Oh, the hunter. So she's a beast girl. And she's just fun to have around. She's just like really always happy, and it's like she's like, I don't know why you use money for it. Like, you should just use meat, because in that town you can only buy stuff with meat instead of money. There's like, why would you want money? It just doesn't get it. Right. And then it's like when you meet her, she's like, all right, I'll let you join me, but instead of like, because usually you invite them or they ask to join you, and so she's kind of funny that way. And I don't know, it's kind of dumb. But kind of dumb for me to like it. But every time you win a battle and whoever does the finishing blow, they say like a comment. Right. Like, oh, like whatever. That fits their personality. Right. And I don't know why I like it so much, but she howls and she just goes, woo! And it just makes me happy. Like,
so tall redheads who have a voice.
She's not redhead. She's like a whitehead.
No. Hold on. I'm marking down once again. What's Frank's waifus here? Gotta check. Got the list going here.
Yeah, she's great.
We'll figure it out.
She has a tail and ears and.
Okay, so bestiality check. Okay, we're learning a lot again. Every episode we learn something new about Frank.
Unfortunately, I don't use her that much.
She can't ball then.
She can ball.
Let me look correct. Oh, she can ball. I know for a fact she can ball.
She has skills.
Okay.
But she's just not. She doesn't fit my team. Like, it would be good if she was my main character, and that way I have to use her.
Right.
But whenever I'm in town, she's like the most useless character.
Right.
Because what she does, she gives people meat to recruit them, which I don't really like recruiting people.
Right.
And the other thing, she kind of fights them. And I don't like fighting people either. Especially for her, it's like the only reason you would fight them is to knock them out. But I'd rather use the thief because the thief can knock them out.
Right. Instantly. Quietly.
Yeah. So it's like she doesn't have the best in-town skills, but she's great at fighting.
I get you.
And lastly, and probably my favorite one.
Ooh, best for last.
The scholar. His name is I should have said the names.
It'll be a test after this, Frank.
His name is Oswald, and basically he is like the Count of Monte Cristo character.
Oh.
Where he gets wrongfully accused of a crime and he gets sent to prison.
And he wants revenge.
There you go.
There you go. That sure sounds like the Count.
What I like is that his personality. I think besides the story, what I've been enjoying is the personality of all the characters. He's a scholar that I thought he was gonna be a jerk, but he's not a jerk. Like, I would have expected him to be a jerk, but he's not a jerk. He's just kind of like, okay, he's just quiet.
Right.
So I like him. I like his story. He's super useful in battle. And he's also useful in town. Not as useful, but he is useful. So it's been great. One of the things I didn't like about the original were that the stories didn't blend together. Like, you could have done all the stories just alone.
Right.
The other guys were, when you were doing the story, the other guys are just NPCs.
Right.
And I don't remember them having any scenes where they acknowledge that they're with each other. It's just kind of like, you meet them, you join them, and then we never talk to each other again. And it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
I feel I maybe there was some cutscenes, but it was
not enough.
Yeah, because in this one, it feels that they went a little more out of their way to show that they are with each other. It goes like, oh, good job, Hikari, or something like that. It's like, oh, so you do know my name. Like,
right. The real characters hanging out and going on this big adventure together.
And this is one thing that was added. They actually have a story between characters. So there's I think there's if it's like the original, there's gonna be 4 chapters for every character. And then after you do certain chapters, you unlock, like, for example, who was it? The cleric and the thief have a story together.
Like a unique, like, side mission together.
Yeah.
It's exclusive to them.
So to do the story, you have to use the character that the story belongs to, and then you do the story.
That does sound. I do like, because it reminds me of Mass Effect 2. I think, once again, I talked about in episode 1 of the podcast, and like they had little details like that where it's more character developer interactions that's more exclusive versus, and like you said, in Mass Effect you kind of gather this giant space crew, but then sometimes it doesn't feel like they're all connected, or they recognize and being like, hey, give me the shot, so and so's name. Yeah, thanks. Here you go, so and so's name.
Yeah, I like details.
Yeah, like exactly. That.
Yeah. So basically, this is like part 1, and I recommend part 1 to anybody that likes RPG games. And as long as you don't expect a great story, it's a great game. And this one, I feel like they stepped up their game on the story. They just polished things, like, add more here and stuff like that.
Had time to actually work out the kinks.
So it's been good.
You do make me want to check it out. And once again, I'm trying to, I think I bought it last Black Friday. If not, I definitely will add it to the list for this coming Black Friday.
I would say you could just play part 2 and it wouldn't matter. Like, playing part 1
I was going to ask you that.
Playing part 1 would just give you combat knowledge, and you would recognize music here and there and places. But it has nothing to do with the original one.
Big stories or character stuff.
No, it's like not even the same time period.
Oh, there you go. That sounds good, Frank. Like I said, I want to check it out too, though I have no idea what I'll get to it. My God, the backlog is already a mess. All right, Frank. Well, I think that concludes our weeks for this episode. And so now it is time for the main topic, the main event, folks. Like I said, we're the hot, sizzling, freshest, popular Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So Frank, first, I want to start this conversation by kind of just letting everyone know where we're at, how much of this world, if you will, since this is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, which is something that doesn't happen very often in many of the Legend of Zelda games. So I just want to ask you, let everyone know where we're at, and then we'll slowly work our way to more details and spoiler stuff as the conversation goes along. So let me go, Frank. Let me ask you the first question here to start us off. Did you play Breath of the Wild?
Yes, of course.
Of course you did. So did I. And so how far and like how much did you play that game? Do you recall?
I've played it between 5 and 10 hours.
Breath of the Wild?
Oh,
the first one.
Oh my God. I'm
It's all good. I did the same thing. I just did 2 seconds ago.
I'm thinking of the stars right now. I'm still
thinking about Octopath.
Okay. Did I play Breath of the Wild? That was your first question.
Yeah, that was my first question.
I was thinking of Tears of the Kingdom.
That's the third game. It's trilogy.
Yes, I played Breath of the Wild. Yes.
Okay. And how many hours? How did you like 100% it or?
I didn't 100% it because I got like all the shrines, but I didn't get all the
Korok seeds.
Kokoro, like there's like 900.
There's something ridiculous.
I got maybe 200, 300 something, but I did a fair bit. I just didn't.
Most of everything, just not the seeds.
I just when I was doing it, I'm like, oh, I'm almost done. I had no idea there was 900. That's crazy. I don't know. You will have to look at under every rock.
You would have to, just Google that shit right there.
So, what about you? Did you?
Yeah.
Or are you answering later?
No, I was gonna actually follow up, and pretty much similar. I did. I want to say, I don't remember. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find the number because the Switch doesn't really tell you how many hours you played the game. But I probably played somewhere between 100, 120 hours of Breath of the Wild. And I did think I did most of the main stuff. The seeds I gave up probably same point, if not sooner than you, because I realized, and then plus I accidentally kind of got spoiled on like, what do you get by doing it all? And the answer is literally a joke. I don't know if you knew that or not, and I guess I don't want to spoil it for you in case you don't want to know. There's no good video game gameplay reason to search for all of them. I'll tell you that for the folks who don't know.
But then again, like, when is there like an amazing reward? Because
it's usually more like just a fan service thing, like, oh, here's the costume for so and so or something like that. I feel like when it's something like that insane where they challenge the players, we dare you, because it's people who do it. It's like the completionists out there who want to do 100%, right? They do exist, but I am definitely not those people.
I think they should do like, once you do everything, you get like a secret final hard dungeon that requires the amazing item that you just got.
That's true. They should.
And then get the real ending or something like that. That's going to be worth it.
That's true. Let's see. What else? So sticking with Breath of the Wild just for another sec or two. What was your favorite part of Breath of the Wild? Considering, well, before I get there, let me ask you the like I set up for that next question. Did you like, because Breath of the Wild is kind of different from a lot of the Zelda games before it, did you like the change, or did you prefer the style of the Zelda games with the more linear, do this, do that, A, B, C, D, that became more formulaic ever since like probably Link to the Past, probably?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't notice the change until I beat the game, and it was like, hey, I'm missing the dungeons.
Oh, I see.
But it was like, I'm not gonna go and protest like, I want my dungeons back. Like it was just okay, this is different. I don't mind the change. I can go.
You go either way.
Yeah, like I see some good things about it and bad things about it, and like having a dungeon, it's kind of like you can say I'm in this dungeon. And you can kind of
you could easily have a conversation with someone else.
Yeah, like and then with Breath of the Wild and this one too, I can tell you where I am, and it's like,
well, great. I don't even know what the fuck that is. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, where are you? Like,
yeah.
And kind of like, I guess the way you can tell, because there are main quests, but I guess the kind of way that you can tell how far you are is like, how many shrines have you done? How many hearts do you have?
Right. So
it's kind of hard to figure out where you are, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, I miss it. Like, so
yeah, I was just curious because I know a lot of people, when they make that change to Breath of the Wild, I think I'm more particular with like I hear mixed. Some people like the exploring. Some people are kind of like, oh, I kind of want to be told, oh, go here, go to the left, and you go to the left, and bada bing, there's this, and the degradation of the weapons always breaking. You always have to, and then you have to collect the supplies. You have to make the food to increase your health or just to recover your health.
Well,
those little things, I was just kind of curious if you enjoyed those things, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want that. I want my Zelda to be A, B, C, D, and call it a day, save the princess.
In the first one, it didn't. I don't remember having a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt I had more space, and I felt the weapons didn't break as fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get permanent weapons later on, so
that's true.
I think it's just people being lazy and not wanting to.
Don't want to go through that grind early on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I'm curious. So that's good to hear. I guess personally for myself, a little bit similar. It was a little surprising with the breaking of weapons, and once in a while I found it annoying, and the stamina meter early on was a little difficult, I guess, but it becomes easier once you realize, oh, so everything's stamina, so just put everything to stamina and everything will be better if you do that. So there's a free tip for anyone struggling with Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. Put it in the stamina bar. Yeah, but overall I did like the adventure and exploring, because it was just like, what's that? I don't know. Let's go fucking find out. Let's go get the horse or fly over there. Let's see, what is that? What is that weird thing I'm seeing all the way in the corner of my eye? So I did like the adventuring quite a bit, and to me was the highlight of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, and I guess we kind of talked about that, but did you have anything particular? Do you have a favorite thing that was unique to Breath of the Wild that was in previous Zelda games, and what was your least favorite thing that was in Breath of the Wild?
Well, what I liked, the exploring was great.
Mm-hmm.
The scenery was beautiful. The music, I don't want to say it's good, but it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost unnoticeable, because when you're riding the horse, there's a song, but it's very, very mild. It's like someone little bells, or I don't know what.
Right.
It's like wait,
it's a little something while you're riding.
It almost doesn't seem like it's the song of riding the horse. It's just like, is it the area or what's going on?
Right.
So the music is good, but it's just hard to notice sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like that the story was almost non-existent. Even though it's kind of like you go back to all the Zelda games and well, there's never been that much story. But it felt like it should have had a lot of story, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was a bit disappointing. I didn't like it didn't bother me that there wasn't dungeons, but it did bother me that the quote unquote dungeons that they did have were very similar, and I felt like it was lazy.
Right. I felt the same thing.
So for example, I thought the Divine Beast were I wasn't a fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they should have been evil. I mean, they have beast in it, so even the final boss was not. I kept thinking, okay, now the real Ganon's gonna show up.
Right. Yeah, basically, if I was just asked to answer the same question, I like I mentioned before, I liked exploring quite a bit. You could choose where you want to go. I did like the main story was lacking, but I forgot I did like more of the little character stories that you would bump into people and hang out with them, and you go on little missions and side quests through them. I did like that stuff more than, like I said, the main quest. Yeah, and the beasts I thought were very disappointing. Both I missed the dungeons, temples, and then plus I just thought they were very uninteresting, and the puzzles were, there's more interesting shrine puzzles than there were the beast guys. Yeah, but yes, pretty similar thoughts and opinions on that.
Oh, going back to just want to say, I did really like kind of like fighting the beast. I thought those were cool scenes where the big elephant, you're swimming on the back of that one dude, and I thought that was just it felt very cinematic.
Right.
And then the one that flies, where you're
to get to them,
you're fighting in the sky. I thought that was cool. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and then in the desert you have so they were all cool battles, and I thought that was great.
Right.
And one last thing that I loved about Breath of the Wild was the customization. You can switch all these clothes and stuff like that. I thought that was cool.
All right. Okay. Then now that leads us to now Tears of the Kingdom. And I think we talked about it before. And so I really wanted, this is the big question I want to ask you, Frank. Because if I remember, you had some very, I don't know if they're expectations or your hopes, or I don't know what the word you would want to use here, but you had some theories, I guess, of how this game could be, should be, both gameplay and narratively. So I'm curious, Franks, what were your expectations for Tears of the Kingdom, and then did the game so far? How's it do? How's that checklist doing for you so far?
Well, the one that I'm pretty sure is not gonna hit, but I kind of knew it. It's just like I was reaching was not co-op. And it looks like that person in the horse was Link, with just long hair, because he has long hair in this game.
Yeah.
Or it looks like it's long, or he just didn't tie it or something.
Yeah, basically.
Does he have longer hair?
It looks a little longer.
No, because in the beginning,
he has a ponytail.
But does he have a ponytail in the original? I can't remember.
I think he does.
So
I want to say it's longer, but not by a lot. But I want to say it's a little longer.
I do think it's longer because if you look at his like sideburns, they're very long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea how much time. We'll talk about that later. Okay, the expectations. One, the co-op. That's not. I'm pretty sure that's not gonna hit. And I didn't expect it to hit. It was just kind of like I threw it out there because the trailer.
I want to believe.
Yeah. So it was just my hope, but I'm not surprised that it's not gonna be co-op. Maybe it is. I don't know. But the story, I felt that it was gonna be heavier story wise, and I feel like that is the case. But it wasn't hard to beat. It wasn't hard to.
Such a low bar.
Yeah. And the story for me does feel more interesting, and I'm very very happy about that. So I feel like, I mean, if I were them, and I don't know all these stats because I don't check nothing.
Right.
But if my feelings towards the games that came out previously are the general consensus, then what is happening and what I think is happening with this game is what I would have done. So this is what it is. We don't like the story part of Breath of the Wild. And if you played Age of Calamity, that was heavy story, and it was actually good and interesting. So looking at these two previous games, I would just take the best of both worlds. Make part 2 story heavy with the gameplay of Breath of the Wild. So that's what I think is happening. And so far, it is. I feel like things are falling into place that is the case. So yeah, that was that. I like his long hair look a lot. That's a biased opinion. For those that don't know, I have long hair.
Same barber.
Same barber. Just don't cut it.
Exactly.
And I really like his green outfit look. I have no idea why they turned to blue. I was not like against it. I just have no idea why they turned to blue.
Why was it blue? Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that, but that's a good point.
So I feel like it went back more to the origins.
Right.
And then I want there to be a red final, end game outfit that's better than the blue one. But all they're gonna do is give you the option to dye the clothes, and you can be red if you want to be red, which is I'm gonna do it.
I'll do it anyway.
I'll do it, but I just wish
I won't like it, but I'll do it. God-damn it!
I just want that red outfit to be the cream of the crop. Like, I need a great red outfit.
Now we know why, and this is why Frank is into redheads.
It's all
real redheads.
It's coming together.
We're learning a lot today. Everyone, take your notes. We're gonna have a Frank bingo card soon with all this information.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, going back to the red outfit, it needs to have purple sleeves to match the Link to the Past outfit.
All these fashion choices.
I
know what Frank's cosplaying this year at Anime Expo.
You know what? I actually was talking to my cousin that I kind of wanted to cosplay this Link.
There you go.
With his green outfit, but
can make it happen. You got the hair, Frank. We established this. You got the hair.
But it's not the same color.
We'll fix that, Frank. Little color, bada bing, bada boom.
I don't know how I feel about that. But
it'll be good. It'll be worth it. Think of all the Instagrams.
I have a quick question for you. Did you get bonus stuff when you bought the game?
To my knowledge, no. Like in-game stuff?
No. So they gave me a plaque at GameStack.
Like a physical goodies.
Yeah. Oh. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to use that to like cut up my vegetables or not, because it's like a wood tablet. Like, I don't know what it's for. It kind of looks like a cutting board. So
I mean, guess you could find out, Frank.
I kind of want to, but I don't want to break it.
Live and learn, Frank. Live and learn.
Yeah, I also got the amiibo, but that wasn't free. And lastly, and surprisingly, my favorite gift that they gave me, which I had no idea that was coming, they gave me an arm sleeve.
Oh, there you go. We got half the costume already, Frank.
And it's so it looks like I have the
big old alien arm.
Yeah. But the only problem is that it doesn't cover my hand. So you would need a glove to.
We'll fix that. We could go to Walmart, we get a little bit of paint, get the hair dye. We're halfway there, Frank. We're halfway there.
But so you didn't get that arm sleeve?
No, well, mine was the digital copy through the I think I mentioned the Costco deals where I saved some big bucks.
I went and I was standing in line and stupid because the guy said just bring your ID. I'm like cool, and then they attended everybody that had the receipt first. And then so even though I was ahead of a bunch of people, they made me wait till
because you didn't have your your pre-order receipt, I imagine. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, this is dumb. They should have told me that."
Yeah, you need that. The receipt would also be good to have.
And then I was so mad at the people walking out. I mean, not because they were ahead of me, but because they had special edition. I'm like,
how? They had the collectors.
How could you?
Because they're real fans, Frank.
I mean, that kid. that kid was like 10 years old and there's no way he's been a Zelda fan longer than me.
His dad was in a line with Orca until it came out, for Christ's sake.
And then some guy he had like a huge box. I'm like, how many did you? Oh my god!
eBay.
Oh, that's so dumb. Like, damn.
Gotta get that hustle money.
And the other thing that got me mad was that they weren't passing out the sleeves.
You had to like ask for them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now that is fucking annoying.
And then some guy asked for 2. And they gave them to him.
There you go.
And then I was like, I would
also on eBay.
I would have asked for 2,
right?
But there was people behind me. I didn't want to be messed up where like they didn't get one.
Oh, the last kid. Oh, I'm sorry, kid. We're all.
Yeah, those guys got 2. Sorry, I can't give you.
It's Frank. That guy right there. His name's Frank.
Yeah. So that was a bit like, and I'm kind of shy. So I was like, I know I'm supposed to ask for it because I was paying attention. And some people didn't ask for it and they didn't give it to them.
Oh, so you gotta demand that shit,
And I was
Frank.
waiting for him like, damn, you really not gonna offer it?
Really? I have to ask?
Gosh, how dare you?
Customer service in this place.
How dare you? We're here waiting for a game and you think we're not gonna want that sleeve?
You told me you're part of Taco Otaku, right? That should have got you in the first door. Collectors is free. Miyamoto wasn't there to shake your hand with Ayanuma?
I wish. I'm a text Miyamoto.
I'm gonna talk to him. I'll talk to him. I don't know. He's dropping the ball on me.
I have him on WhatsApp.
Oh, because I'm in Japan. I can't make it. Like, shut up, Miyamoto. Get on that goddamn plane again.
Damn.
I saw your Mario Bros. Movie. Now do me a favor.
They should have given gloves too.
They should
have matched the sleeve. I don't know how I got into this. But what was I talking about?
We were talking about expectations.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll move on here, Frank. We got to move on here. Well, I appreciate all the details. Let's talk about actually the video game. I think we talked about it. Real quick for myself, expectations. To be honest, I really didn't have much because I didn't know how to feel about a sequel to Breath of the Wild because, like, what does that mean? I guess my only expectations, well, they're more like, I guess, yeah, my expectations were based on nothing, just based on what I want. And better tempos and a better story. And so far, I think we're actually delivering on those things. I think, question mark. I'm not 100% sure yet, depending how far I'm into the game.
Yeah.
But so far, those expectations I had are looking good. All right, so now let's jump into it. Let me ask you this one, and then we'll get into more details and spoilers, if you will, to a certain degree, as far as we got.
Ask me anything you want. I like this topic.
So the first question is, do you know how many hours you've already dived into this game?
Hours?
Yeah. If you had to guess, because I had to sit down and think about it too. If I had to, because the game once again doesn't really tell you.
Well, I've played it several days. I would have to say around 10.
10 hours, okay.
Around 10, but it feels like I've played longer.
Yeah, I'm probably closer to 15 if I had to guess, but definitely around 10 to 15.
I could probably check right now.
You can save it for I'll trust you, just so everyone knows this is how far we're into the game. And then this is the last question before we get into details. Overall, so much you're playing it, would you recommend Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, yes.
Easy recommendation.
Yes.
Okay.
Overall, I think if you give it a chance, you're gonna like it.
Okay.
And I would recommend it to anybody, but I wouldn't recommend it to anybody because I know that.
Well, yeah, it's hard to sell for whole. But people who are slightly curious, if you see a kid looking at it and going, you turn the kid, take it to the register.
I feel like this Zelda is such a teacher of life because.
Tell me more, Zelda Sensei.
Okay, think about it. Think about it this way. you have kids that like shooting games, name all
the worst children of all time.
And here's how they develop. And they have crappy. I mean, they could become good people that argue a lot, and they cuss a lot. I
like first-person shooters. Arrest this man, sir.
And the stuff, and I just don't like that kind of personality. And then 2,
FPS fans.
And as opposed to Zelda, you learn to critical think. You learn to solve puzzles, and I think that's more helpful than other stuff. Like I think it develops a different type of a different part of your brain, which helps you in other stuff in life.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think that I would very much rather my kids play a Zelda game than a shooting game.
No son of mine will play a Call of Duty.
It's not that wouldn't.
I know.
It's just like I feel like it's also a teaching tool. And it's fun.
There you go. All right then, Frank. It sounds like it's overall it's good. All right, Frank. Now let's get into, I guess, the more spoilers or once again spoilers we could get into here. Is we've only played about 10 hours apiece. So what? How? I'm trying to think how, because once again, you could be anywhere doing anything in this game. So Frank, what was the last thing you were doing when you were playing the game? What was the last thing you were working on? What was your mission, I guess?
Well, I went down to the lower world. And I'm looking for Zelda.
That checks out.
And it is hard to describe. Okay, so basically what the latest stuff that I did, looking for Zelda, and then you find out that she's here, but she's not here. She's kind of like here in spirit.
Right.
And then I activated the first tower, so...
Oh, I see.
So I got the paraglider, and then I talked to, what's her name? Pura? And she basically told me to go to these 4 areas to investigate, because I think they either unusual activity or they saw Zelda around there. So basically that's what I got to do. And I'm guessing these 4 areas are where the other 4, what do they call them? Champions are. And that's where I am.
Okay.
I try to get to the freaking spot, and I can't get there because there's ice.
Which direction were you heading towards, Frank?
I went the one that they recommended, the upper left. So
okay. So you went to the Rudo village?
Yeah,
the bird people.
Hebra area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're right
that side of the map. Okay.
I wanted to go down and right because
they can ball?
No,
that's the opposite. Oh, referring to be the down left is where
not to any of the 4 main places, because
what's on the is it the Deku tree? What's down there? I forget.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. But she said that
I'm trying to remember,
because she said go to these 4 areas, and then also there's something. Well, how did she say it? Southwest.
Something weird's happening down here.
And then she said you should go there. What I'm guessing is the village where Impa is at.
Oh, right.
I think it's that village.
Okay.
I don't think she'll be there, but I think it's that village.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do remember there was one line of that, but I did not go that direction either.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure.
I wanted to go there and investigate, but then
gotta solve this crime.
But this game is harder. I keep dying.
Oh wow! Can you? What's okay? So yeah, I guess let me see. Was there anything else I wanted before we could just do more? So yeah, so basically you haven't really done any of the side quests. It sounds like because you spent most of your time on the tutorial area, if you will. The I think what's like something the Great Plateau,
Great Sky Island.
There you go. That's what it's called.
Get it right.
Sorry, I was remembering. I'm sorry, Frank. I'm sorry. I'll do better, I swear. So you spent a lot of time there. Yeah, I did spend a little bit of time there, but at some point I'm like telling myself, okay, I need to get off this fucking thing and do something else. So I did kind of stop myself and kind of progress in the story, if you will.
I was trying to just do the story straight up. I wasn't trying to do anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I found myself lingering and what's that?
When I did become like that was one in the lower world, and I'm like, shrine. So if I see a shrine, I stopped.
You're booking it.
Because I was going where I was going, and then I saw a shrine, I did it, and then I looked around and saw another one, and then I ended up the opposite direction of where I was supposed to be.
I see.
And that's why I can never get where I'm supposed to go.
That's the one thing I've noticed, and it's a good thing, bad thing of like you could go wherever you want, you could do whatever you want, if assuming you got the tools and accessories to get there, which most of the time you do. You just maybe don't know how to do it, but you do have the skills. You just have to figure it out, and eventually the game kind of tells you. But yeah, it does feel like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? So like you're just going around in circles, but actually not getting very far in certain things, depending on what you want to do. But you know, if that's what you want to do, then you know, and you're entertained with it, and so be it. Do that. It works for you. Is there any obvious improvements that you've seen that you enjoy more in Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild?
Well, it is harder.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like the hand gimmick more than the iPad gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you call it? The Chica Slate?
The Chica,
I like that better. Yeah, because I think the skills are not only are they more interesting to me, I hated the cooldown on the original one. So I think that's better. I could say some opposite stuff, but improvement, I think that's it. I haven't done too much
to see the difference, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say because you're still, because I think I'm a little far. Well, I'm probably I don't know. I'm trying to think of how many. Let's say I'm gonna say if you're 10 hours, then I'm probably definitely closer to 15 hours would be my guess. But anyway, for me, yeah, the improvements, I do like the skills and abilities you get from your Switch, basically. I do like you can travel with the. It's like my new favorite thing, trying to figure out how can I cheat my way and warp my way up to the top of this mountain or hill or whatever, so I don't have to climb that shit. Just cheat my way there. I do like doing that stuff. Fusing the stuff together, building. I was surprised. At first, I was kind of like, oh, I don't really care for this. I don't think I like this. But it's slowly grown on me, and I kind of appreciate it a little bit more and kind of understand how to control it a little better so the pieces line up and connect the way I want them to.
The connecting part, it's never bugged me. The part that I was kind of like overwhelmed by was all the fusing.
That did take me a while.
Especially with the arrows, I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to use something other than the fire arrow?
Yeah. There's a lot. They went even more all in the crafting and like constructing things of, you put this, you do this, you do this, you do that, you get this. There's a lot of recipe things going on, if you will, just even with the cooking stuff alone.
Yeah, I it's just, I just started the game and I have like 100 items I can fuse to an arrow. And I'm like, come on, where are you, bomb? Where are you, fire fruit?
Yeah.
So
at the end of the day, it's only like a handful. It's like you kind of really want to need.
I'm like, do I really want to fuse a fish to my arrow?
Give it a shot. See what
happens. Is a bear gonna go to it?
Never know.
I don't. You know what? I don't even want to give it a shot. You know why? Because I do not want to waste the fish.
It's a good fish. I can make. You know what? How many things I can make with this fish?
Yeah. I mean, my cousin is more extreme on it, but I'm the kind of person where it's like, I'd rather die than use that material. Like, I have a potion. Nah.
I'll save that.
I gotta save it for when it's really needed. So that's why I guess I'm so stingy that
right. You're stingy on your equipment, your items. You make me think of myself when I'm playing like Resident Evil games. Like, ooh, I do have that grenade launcher. But I might need it later on. Despite I know like I'm almost at the end of the game, but maybe it'll change now, and I better save it.
I was forced to eat that fruit. No, something hot. So because it's cold.
Oh right, you have to.
So I was forced to eat it. But so I made a few of them, and you know how the time runs out.
Yeah, they're on time.
So it ran out, and I didn't use another one. So I'm like, no, I gotta make it last. And then I'm like, okay, so this one gives me 2 hearts. I can wait until I'm down to 1 heart.
Wait, and then just time it to you like a quarter of a heart left.
Yeah, I gotta be
hit that pause button real quick.
Gotta be efficient.
Man. Gotta be quick on your feet here.
So I mean, yeah, that's why I like using the hand because I'm like, infinite. That's what I like.
Good stuff. Yeah, and so let me ask you that then. I'm trying to think anything else in particular that stands out to me. That isn't there's 1 or 2 things I kind of want to say, but it's like it's kind of spoilerish for you, so I will leave it out.
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Go ahead.
Since I'm a little ahead of you.
Say it.
Fine, Frank. I will tell you. There are no longer beasts, but there are other things, and they're kind of like temples, but not really. So they've made them closer, but not really.
Well, that's not a big spoiler.
So yeah, it's one, and I don't know because I don't know if all of them are gonna. Because I did let's put it this way. Out of the because the game tells you, hey, you should check out these 4 important things for the main storyline. I went to one of them and completed one of them. And I was a little bit surprised, both in a positive and in a negative way, of, oh, thank God it's not the beast thing again. But at the same time, but this sure doesn't look like a dungeon or temple to me. But
yet it is?
And yet the game says, oh, it's a temple. And I go, is it though? It doesn't look like a temple to me. But maybe I'm being a little too Ocarina of Time over here.
I think this game has a problem in giving you temples. I think they wanted to do it because
that's what people want.
People ask for it, I'm guessing.
Right.
But they had a problem. This is a sequel to a game that already exists.
Right, where there were no temples.
And you can't exactly say, well, actually, you missed it.
But it was right here. The whole you didn't see it. Link, you should have made the left, you fool.
Yeah, and it would have been kind of like too dumb saying, oh, all the temples rose to the sky.
Yeah, yeah, they're just going to pop out of nowhere. Yeah, no, that's true. You got to put a point there, Frank.
It would have been kind of dumb. It's like, what? This wasn't there.
It was better. What I will say is the boss battle was quite good. Without getting more details, the boss battle.
Don't tell me.
I won't tell you any more than that.
Just, how,
but that was good. So yeah, that's as far as main story stuff. I'm doing a couple side quests involving the Great Fairies.
Which one did you go to?
I stumbled upon, I think, passed by 3 of them, but I didn't know what to do for a while until literally last time I was playing at the session. I bumped into, there's one you're supposed to go to first that starts the whole that side quest mission, if you will.
Oh, we're talking about the main quest, right?
I thought you were asking particularly about the fairies. You're talking about the whole map now.
The main, because it gives you 4 spots you can go to.
Yes.
That's what I was asking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the fairies.
Oh, I don't know nothing about.
No. Okay. So what I started off the game, I went back and forth because I got distracted. Let's go here. Let's go over there. So I kind of went everywhere on the map until I finally decided, well, because I was trying to remember, when I did Breath of the Wild, I went to the Zora place first because I think the game kind of implies you should maybe check out the Zora Palace.
No, it doesn't.
Does it?
Oh wait, Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up just doing what the game told me. And I was debating back and forth which way to go. And I just, by pure chance, by me just keep going in circles, I end up starting to head towards the Rito village. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I've already unlocked the tower in that area. So I kind of have a better, so I'm like, okay, let's go check out what's up with what's Falco? What's Falco up to over here?
Falco.
And so I end up doing the big side or the big main quest, I guess, over there, a couple with other side quests I found along the way. And so that's been most of my gameplay recently until today, where I kind of said, well, because I kind of wanted to go to the Gerudo village, but then I had the issue with the heat issue, and I had nothing to cool myself down. So, and I recently finally figured, if I make this, I can do that and get past there. But at part of me, I'm debating to keep going that way towards, I think it's where the what are they called? The rock people? The Goros?
Wait, the Gerudo village is hot?
Yeah, with the
desert?
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought it was in the original too.
I don't remember that.
I'm trying to remember. And that was the other thing. Half my thing is like, was this like this in Breath of the Wild? I don't remember.
I don't think so. Because I remember the only place that you had to worry about was the ice and then the Death Mountain.
Okay, maybe that must be new. Slightly spoilers, perhaps. Whoops, sorry, Frank.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember either. But yeah, there are differences, though. I can tell you that. There's differences playing while it is the same map and the same characters in a lot of situations, the setting has changed because of the events of the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom. So that was interesting to see the changes there. And I'm trying to remember. I'd have to go look in old gameplay of, this is what happens in Breath of the Wild. This is what happens here, because there are changes there, but I can't recall what is the differences. But there are. I know there are.
I would want to go back and check too, but just time.
I know, right? There's no time, and at the same.
I know Pura is different now.
Yes, and that took me a minute to put that together.
And then if you go to Age of Calamity, the old guy, he's young.
Oh, right, because it's 100 years ago, right? Yeah. Oh, that makes sense at least. Yeah, I was trying, and that was the other thing. I was just trying to remember, because that's the other weird thing is a lot of times I'd go on missions and be like, "Oh, Link, how's it going?" I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? Do I know you?" And it's like, "Oh, right, yeah, I think I did something with you in the last game."
I like it when it's like, who was it? It's like, he was like, "Who are you?" I'm like, and then he was like, "Oh, You're so lucky. You have the name of the famous sword.
Oh, yeah. You bumped into that guy a few times. I actually did a mission with him last time I saw him.
I was like, oh.
But yeah, it was pretty funny. And that was interesting and weird. And I was trying to also remember this. Is in Breath of the Wild. Well, they must be, because in most of the Zelda games before Breath of the Wild, I want to say, you could always change Link's name to something else, but it's always, I think it's already, you just want to go Link? Okay, cool, it's Link. But this game doesn't even give you the option.
Yeah.
He's Link, and because in all the cutscenes they refer to him as Link, so his name has to be Link. So it's like kind of like surprised me, which I'm trying once again, was that in Breath of the Wild? And I'm like, yes, but I just didn't notice it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they did it for, I think as if they didn't do that, you would have to have less story, or
yeah,
I don't know.
And plus, it wouldn't. Once again, the same things we were just talking about before. Of like, it doesn't feel that they're not addressing them by their names, right? It doesn't feel like it's really happening. Hey, you. Hey, Mister.
Yeah. It's one of those changes where it's weird because it generally hasn't been like that.
Right.
But that one I accept. The one that I don't accept is making Link right-handed.
Oh yeah.
Why? Just because.
And this is why you played the GameCube version, Frank.
What? No.
Oh, you're talking about this. Oh, you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going backwards for a sec.
What are you talking about?
In Twilight Princess, in the Wii version, he's right-handed because everyone's that.
Yeah.
But yes, also.
But ever since then,
they've stuck. Yes.
They're like, well, we should just make him right-handed because everybody's right-handed.
Everyone's right-handed.
And they're gonna relate to him more or something.
Exactly. He's a righty, just like me.
No, keep him left. So that bugs me.
Forgot about that, but that is a good point.
One thing I've noticed, or maybe it's just my imagination, I feel this game is more orange. Like the especially in the Great Sky Island, everything's so orangey themed. Like there's a lot of sun. And I felt the original one was very blue, like morning, and then I feel like we're in the afternoon now.
I see. Interesting. I didn't think about that, but I want to say I agree.
And then like when most of the time I feel like it's afternoon. Maybe it's just been coincidence,
right?
Or it's just too early for me. But
you just keep waking. You go to the beds, you fall asleep, and it's always afternoon when you wake up.
But I do feel that this game, it has a lot of orange theme colors. And I like it that it's different,
right?
But I don't like that morning look, or I don't know, not morning look, but it's just kind of like
the color scheme.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in Kansas and on the field, and there's wheat all over. And that's how I feel. I feel like I'm in an episode of Smallville.
I was gonna make a Superman. It's funny. I was just gonna say Superman. That's funny. This is why you're on the podcast. We got similar mind. Great minds think alike, friend. Speaking about, I guess, the differences, let me ask you, how do you feel about the changes or the somewhat changes you've seen, perhaps? Do you feel, because I know in the back of my mind, I was kind of like, or I know for Miles, I was talking to him off podcast, and he was kind of like, is it going to be worth it though? Because isn't it just a Breath of the Wild 1.5? Because originally this was all supposed to be like DLC, but then I guess they kept expanding it to make it a full-fledged single-player original campaign story and this and that. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's unique enough? They're doing enough fresh things to make it feel like a 1.5?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Because I know, if you think about Cold Hard Facts, $70 to play the same game again. It's got the same map, the same characters, doing the same thing, doing the shrines. Why would I pay $70 versus, because every other Zelda game, mainline Zelda game, has been mostly significantly different from the past entry. For this be doing the exact sequel on the same map with the same characters. You're okay with that, I imagine?
I think that has to happen. Mm-hmm. It has to be similar. Yes. Differences here and there, and I don't see how that's an argument. I mean, or a complaint, because it happens all the time. Like, think of all the franchises that have another game, and even if they're not sequels, it's like, I've played this game before. It's just a little bit different here, like Ace Attorney or the Mario games or Fire Emblem games. So I don't really resonate with that complaint, and I do feel, having said that, I do feel that it's different enough to warrant another story. And I feel like if it was too different, it would be a bad thing, because then wait, it's supposed to be a sequel, like it's supposed to be similar to it, right? So that's how I feel.
Okay. I'm just curious to see, because I know some people might be more grumpy about it, but
I think they just they just don't have a job.
Well, I think it's for them. It's because Zelda is one of those. It's everyone's favorite, right? And we talked about it on once again episode. Boy, a lot of episode 1 references today. Where all you guys had a Zelda game in your list because it's just one of a lot of people's, it's one of their favorite series of all time, and they kind of put it on this giant pedestal. And there's only a Zelda game every maybe 5 years, something like that, every so often. It's not like the Call of Duties or anyone else where they pump one out every year or every other year. So I guess people maybe would have that expectation of it. Well, it's got to be different. It's got to be a unique story.
I see what you mean. This is a special case. Like you said, there aren't many sequel Zelda out there.
True.
But if this was like, Zelda Space Adventure or whatever whatever the
what
title
it could be,
would
something different.
And it was very similar to this one, then I would feel that is a valid concern where, because historically Zelda tries to innovate and be like, okay, this is what's gonna make this game unique.
Right, exactly.
But in this case, this is part of the original one, and therefore it has to be.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I get, because they did take long enough to
yeah.
But this is not one of those cases where I see that it has to be its own thing. In my opinion, it has to not be its own thing.
Right, that's true. Being a sequel, it only makes sense. And even if obviously that wasn't the case, to me it's just like, well, the Breath of formula, people liked that formula, so why would you throw, if it's not broken, why would you?
Yeah, they're just continuing the greatness that was Breath
exactly, and remix it enough to make it feel. And so far, I agree. I haven't had that issue. I never like, oh, I wish they did this more different. Like I said, they do enough things to make it not feel like a copy and paste job. And I guess that. Let me ask you this question. I think
it's so different.
What are, do you have any complaints, any things you wish they could improve on in the future, perhaps little minor things, anything like that comes to your mind?
Can you answer that first?
So for me, I what was I had one, and of course it fell right on my head as soon as I had it.
Like improve on this game, or like if they made a different game?
If they made it, well, okay, I remember. So one thing, there was something I forgot I should mention that I guess I was hoping as a small expectation that I wish they would improve on, and yet I don't think they did, but maybe there's something I don't know yet. So the one thing I didn't like about the Breath of the Wild, the first game of this, I guess, sequel, is the cooking aspect, where you'd always have to constantly grab the ingredients out, like one at a time, put them in the pot, watch it stir, stuff like that. I was hoping in this game it would have been like, the game's gonna be like, hey, so here we looked at your ingredients, here's all the things you can make, and this is the requirements, go ahead and click it, and we'll kind of speed it through and kind of streamline it for you. But they didn't seem to do that here. There's like a recipe thing, but you still have to like navigate it and kind of look through the extra menu. It's not as clean as I wish it would be, because I know there's other games that have like more crafting stuff like this that make your life a little bit easier to click and kind of hustle and bustle your way through. So that was one minor thing I was disappointed about, that they did not improve upon here.
I hadn't even thought about something like that. Because all I do is just like, I do the most basic things, like
fish.
Bake an apple.
Like apples for everyone.
Yeah, and also like, I guess that's not a big concern of mine, because like I said, I think I've mentioned it before, I like to play it with 3 hearts. So in my play style, I die in one hit. Right, so
that's true.
I don't need food.
Just dodge.
Yeah. It's just like, I do need food when I get poisoned and stuff like that. But I guess that's why I hadn't thought about it too much. One complaint I kind of do have. I like playing 3 hearts, and I feel they force me to get a 4th heart.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm assuming, I don't know this for a fact yet, but I'm assuming you can beat the game just like Breath of the Wild, where you don't have to get any hearts.
But I don't know how you would get past that door. Like, because I've seen a video, I didn't see it, but it popped up in my feed, and it said 3 heart challenge.
Right.
I'm like,
how?
You mean I didn't have to get that 4th heart? How did they get past that door? Like, did they go around and then?
Could be a glitch in the game, perhaps. I'm not too sure.
I'm curious.
Curiosity.
But if there is a way to play it with 3 hearts, then
Game Plus unlocked.
It was just shame on me for not, trying harder.
I thought you're a real Zelda fan.
Part of it was.
I'm gonna take that sleeve away back from you, Frank. You don't deserve that sleeve.
It smells like me now.
It's part of me.
Also, I didn't try to do it too much because just in case I play it again, the next time I really will try 3 hearts. And I'm assuming that if it's like the original one where you need 13 hearts or something like that to get the Master Sword,
right?
Then I want to experience the whole thing. But next time maybe I won't.
Yeah, I definitely did not do like, because I've seen some of those crazy stuff you can do in Breath of the Wild, and I just kind of played the game the way the designers kind of were hoping you would follow through. But of course you don't have to. But I just kind of put like, well, in my mind I'm thinking, well, these guys worked real hard. They really want me to go to the left. All right, designers, I'll go to the left just for you.
One thing I do feel that they would change is the movement of when you're building stuff. I feel it's kind of hard to, whatever you're holding, move it in the direction you want. And I'm spinning. I'm like, no, not that way. No, not that way.
Right.
And it's kind of weird the way that's designed. Because if you don't hold R, it just moves it, wherever you want to move it.
Yeah.
And then you hold R, you can change the direction.
You can rotate it and spin it around.
But you can't rotate it. I don't know if it's weird. You can't rotate it where you want it to go.
Exactly. And I had the same exact struggle for a long time. And eventually I kind of realized the way to make it easier is, one, when you pick up the item, try to pick it up where the item's like flat or like, at a nice 90-degree angle, so it's easier to spin when you do grab it. Or two, there's the reset button, which kind of helps, but it didn't really help me. What really helped me is if you try to line up the item you're holding and spin it to the way where it shows the indicator left, right, up, and down, and you spin it that way, then when you spin it, it spins directly to the way at least my brain perceives the way it should and I want it to.
Can you move it with the motion control?
There are some motion controls, but I don't know what the details are.
That part specifically,
I do not know, because I want to say no, but I don't know for a fact because I turned them off pretty closely when I was very quickly after I realized they're on.
Have you tried building a lot of stuff or no?
I built a few things, but nothing very basic. Very like, I know you could get very nerdy, but I'm just kind of like this, and that, and it gets the job done, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But I know later on in the game, because I remember seeing footage of the trailers, and you could get really crazy with the stuff you can build.
I want to build those crazy stuff, but I don't want to build those crazy stuff.
Exactly.
You know why? Because those stuff are limited.
Yeah, they're...
When they said you can take it out of the capsule, but you can't put it back in, I'm like, I'm not taking you out.
Gotta save this grenade ammo for later on.
I'm walking. I'm not wasting my fan on something...
That is one thing on the plus thing I mentioned. I do like they do give you those like little like handicaps, or, oh, you fucked up, don't worry, we got you, bro, here you go, here's this little cheat, here's your little hacks, here you go.
I bought so many and I haven't used any.
I do try not to use them, but when I'm like, oh, I'm low on actual items, well, fuck, I guess I'll have to use one. That's what they're there for. So I do like that. That's a well thought out game design choice of having that little whoops in case you went here and that and didn't realize you need all this stuff. We got you, bro.
Have you ever tried to build something big?
No, not real. The problem, every time I've tried, the few times I tried to build something like ridiculously large or whatever, I find out the game goes, why did you build this silly big thing? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I thought I needed it.
What do you mean, why did you?
Like, I would, like, for an example, in certain shrines, there'll be, like, pieces you need and move and manipulate a certain way to, move on to the next section of the shrine, and they go, do-do-do-do, right? Where you made progress. And I'd be like, I better grab that stuff I just used, though. I might need it for the next section of the puzzle, and I'll take it with me. And the game goes, why the fuck are you bringing this shit with you? You don't need any of this shit. Like, but maybe I do. I don't know.
Hoarder.
Basically, I don't know. Maybe there's the secret chest with the big rubies are there. I don't know. I better bring it with me. And then at the end of the day, because I did the same thing, I made like this giant, like, kind of like hovercraft. And this game's like, why? Why are you doing this? You just need one of these. Because I was trying to do it and like there was not enough power. It was not designed for you to really do that in that situation.
I haven't really looked into it because the energy cells and then all that stuff, I'm like, what?
It's a lot of collecting.
And I'm like, wait, so it doesn't work if I don't have it? I don't really know why I got that capsule for.
Mm-hmm.
That part I'm a bit confused about. I haven't really been interested enough to like dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I wanted to mention, I was doing one of the sky towers, I think they're called.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I don't know if you ran into it. It was one where it's in the middle of, there's water around it. So you have to kind of
fly into it,
swim to it or something.
Oh, okay.
And there's water, and then you could get there, but you will have to climb. So, I mean, as far as where I am, I can't swim there. I mean, I could swim there, but I wouldn't be able to climb it because stamina.
Right.
So I'm like, do I need to build a boat to get there,
Mm-hmm.
or do I need to like build something else? Anyways, the pond or the lake, wherever it is, it's I'm not trying to figure out how far it would be, but it's pretty far where you would kind of run out of your stamina
Mm-hmm.
if you get to the island. So what I did, I didn't want to build a boat because I don't know how to build a boat. And I could have built like a little raft and put like a fan on it and then gone to it. But I'm like, I don't want to use those. And it has those what do they call it? This building areas where
you're right. Here's the parts.
Yeah. So what I did a super long bridge, like, and then I gave it like 2 feet, so it kind of hooks to the island. So
the Great Naruto Bridge over here.
Yeah, it was super long. It had like 20 pieces. I wasted all the wood they had there.
I used every piece they gave me.
And one thing I noticed, and I did not think this was gonna be a thing. Where if your structure is so big, because if you move it and it stays in place. You move it and it stays in place. But for me, I would move it and it would just keep spinning and spinning and spinning because of the whole momentum of the structure. I'm like, wait, that's a thing? I'm like, I thought this was like
physics.
So it was hard for me to place it on the top, but I felt so proud. I'm like, did I just cheat or was I supposed to do something?
That is the fun thing about this game in Breath of the Wild 2 is there's a way that it's like the designer goes like, well, here's an easy way to solve it. But for those who are crazy and hardcore, like you can solve it like so many different ways, either just, through glitches or just physics nonsense and everything else in between. And I do like that there's many ways to solve the same puzzle.
I feel like they wanted me to build a boat and just
test
go around and climb. But I did.
I'm doing my own thing.
I spent like 5 minutes making that bridge. Yeah, that's what I find myself doing all the time. If I gotta get somewhere, just build a bridge. Just build a bridge.
I don't need no motors, no energy. I am the energy.
Yeah, because in the beginning I got stuck in the Great Sky Island. I think this is why even though I have so many hours, I haven't gotten very far because I was stuck in this one part where it was near the last shrine or you had to do, and I fell down and I couldn't climb up because it was ice. And then I couldn't go back up. I had to go around the whole island just to get back to where I was. And then it was so weird. Like, I feel like they wanted me to go somewhere else. But then I just looked up. I'm like, wait, I can climb this. I just climbed it and I was there.
There you go.
I was like, but I was building, I was cutting trees and putting them together to build like a big ladder. And at the end, I was like, wait a minute.
I can just climb.
Oh, was
that behind the waterfall?
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Because I had the same time. I'm like, wait, how am I going? And then I caught myself and I went like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait, I can climb this.
Right, this right here. This little
like,
section. Yeah, there's like one little path that you could climb up.
It was like a route or something. But yeah, I just feel like, I don't know if it's lazy of me, but whenever there's somewhere I gotta go, I'm like, bridge.
Oh, I got this, guys.
We don't need a vehicle. Bridge. That's my go-to thing.
Link, you need the Master Sword to defeat Ganondorf. No, I got it. I got my bridge. I'm good. I got it. Just clonk him over the Great Naruto Bridge over Ganondorf's head. Believe it.
Which is the Great Naruto Bridge?
From the first arc, Naruto.
Oh, with the
Zabuza guy.
Oh, okay.
And then afterwards, evil called the Great Naruto Bridge, despite he kind of really didn't do much. But hey, he had that cool scene. He did that sick flip.
Hey, that yeah, I got into it with that part.
I didn't. My body moved on its own. Classic. Good old Naruto.
So yeah. I don't know how we got into this, but
it's all good. It's all good. But Frank, let me ask you: is there any other questions, any things you want to talk about that we haven't gotten to yet? Since I know we're kind of a little close to the end of our time here.
Well, the last thing I wanted to mention was that this game is harder than the original one. I thought it was just me being rusty. But I was talking to my cousin, and he said that he played the original one to, refresh, and that he has noticed that he dies a lot more in this one. I think that's a good change. Especially, it kind of motivates you to get stronger. And I felt in the original one, I was like, I don't need anything. I can just, dodge everything and kill everything. And it'll take me long, but so I just run away. I just run. I'm like,
I'm not gonna deal with this.
I really look at. I feel like this is a more survival type game than the original, even though it has like the same thing. I really do feel like that one guy from what was his name, Bear, or the survival guy. Like he teaches you how to survive in the wild.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, his name is like Bear or something.
I'll trust you.
Anyways, I'm like, I gotta make do with what I got. Literally, this just happened. I was going to somewhere, and I ran to this camp, and I was seeing a whole bunch of bokomoblins. And then I was like, I looked at my swords.
I looked at my inventory, what I had.
Like, damn, they're gonna all break, or I'm not gonna have enough. And I was looking around. I was like, is there a treasure there, or is this
is any good? What do you got over there? Is there some rubies? What do you got over there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm like, you guys aren't worth it.
Nah, man. I'm gonna go this way. I gotta go. I got places to be.
So I was like, I don't have the materials for you guys.
I'll come back later. I'll see you guys later.
So that's why I felt like it's had me thinking, like,
right.
I'm counting pennies because I haven't found I haven't found a single ruby.
Yeah, rubies. It took me a while to get my first ruby.
I had to sell myself. I still haven't found one. So I was like, damn, I'm poor.
It's tough times out here in Hyrule.
Yeah, so I feel like it's making me think a lot more. Like I'm not just this super powerful guy that can just go and slash on everything. And I'm this poor guy,
literally,
just trying to make it by.
Inflation gets us all.
I know. You know what? This is Breath of the Wild's inflation version.
There it happens. When a new king comes in, new taxes.
How long was he asleep that everything became expensive? His hair grew, and then they stopped producing rupees.
Yeah, it is kind of weird the time, because there are some things where it's like, yeah, the time. And I do wish I had a chance to go back to Breath of the Wild. Like I said, what the hell am I going to make time for that? But it is confusing because it seems like it's only been like months, but maybe it feels like the way the story feels like sometimes it feels like it's like more like a year, if not like 2 years.
You know what? I don't know how to do. I kind of know how to do it, but I'm too lazy to look it up, and I'm too lazy to go back to the original spot. The shrines give you these spheres, which you use to get more heart containers or stamina, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have like 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't used them.
Oh, you don't know where to cash them in?
Yeah, I was like,
do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
In the village where you meet the scientist lady.
There?
Yeah.
Oh God.
You gotta go under. Talk to the main. She'll tell you, hey, you should talk to this guy, and you talk to that guy. He'll hook you up.
Because I know there's one in the Great Sky Island, but I don't remember where, and I'm like,
I do remember that too. Think, fuck, I don't remember what it is. But lucky for me, I stumbled upon that one. Like, whoo, thank God.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm living on scraps here because
no money, got no hearts, no stamina.
I have stock, but I haven't cashed it out.
You gotta cash it in, frick. Well, it's still worth something.
So that's one thing I'm like, I'll figure it out. I won't talk to somebody and they'll tell me.
They'll hook you up.
Yeah,
they'll hook you up.
It's like, because I'm trying. What I'm trying to do is not look at any guides.
Yeah. Neither am I.
I did look at one because I thought it was stupid. One of the shrines.
The puzzles.
And I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I got the gist of it. So I'm gonna just look at this because I know I'm missing something dumb, and it was something dumb. And then there's another one where I got stuck, but I didn't look it up. I just figured I'll come back to that one. But yeah, I'm trying not to look at any guides and stuff like that. So yeah, I enjoy the extra difficulty, and I feel like it feels more like a survivor game.
Yeah. Even more so.
Despite me not wanting to play it because I was so hooked on Octopath Traveler 2, I'm glad I'm into it now, and I probably won't go back into it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm so mad at my bosses because they keep calling me to work.
They want you to work those damn bastards.
I was working 2 days a week, and then suddenly 5. I'm like, hey, what the hell?
Zelda's out. What the fuck are you doing?
You should have been doing this before it came out, and start giving me breaks now, but...
Life. Those bills, Frank. Those pesky bills.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Yeah. Speaking about 1 or 2 things I want to mention, I guess bummers. I think we said briefly, but I guess I want to harp on a little bit more. I get the fusion bit, but I kind of don't like the fusion bit.
I mean the weapon part?
Yeah, the weapon part where it took me a while to understand because when they explain how it works, I get it, but the controls did it took me a minute to figure it out. That it's, you have to use the L button, and then in that section, then you fuse it, and that's how you do it. So it took me a figure just to logistically with the button presses to figure it out.
Let me ask you something. What can you fuse?
It's more like, what can't you fuse? You can fuse like almost anything.
You can't fuse shields.
You can fuse stuff onto shields.
You can fuse a shield onto a weapon, but you can't fuse a shield like say if you have 2 shields, you can't fuse
put on a weapon.
Yeah, you can fuse a shield. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And I haven't, to be honest, I really haven't played with it very much. Only when I have to do I bother with the fusion stuff. Because usually I'm like, oh, sweet. What I've been doing my recent gameplay is like, hey, I think they're pose, but those guys who like prance in the air, I forget what they're called. But I kill them and take their oh, it's an ice weapon. Sweet, I now have an ice weapon. Oh, killed this guy. He's got a fire weapon. Sweet, and I have a fire weapon.
The thing where okay, so if you fuse a shield onto something, it's gonna be a weapon. It can't be a shield, I think. Or at least I don't know how to fuse something onto a shield and keep it as a shield.
So the shields, because I really don't, to be honest, I never really use the shield at all in general. So even the only time I've used a shield with an item is with the like the flamethrower, because hey, it's a flamethrower. So that's the only time I've actually used one. But for everything else, I really haven't used it because I just don't use them in the game. I just dodge and hit attack.
The reason
defend?
The reason I don't like fusing one is because I feel like it looks silly.
There's that too, also.
But I do like fusing the Zonite stuff. Because then it becomes a completely different weapon,
right?
And I like that.
Yeah, some parts of it, yeah, like you said, work. But there's more potential wrong than right, I guess, so far.
But I do
But I'm sure there's like a guide that actually explains it and does a better job.
I've come to enjoy fusion because I keep dying so much. I'm like, okay, I have to do something.
Right, something. Yeah, I can do something different.
I had to actually use all the tools to my disposal to stop sucking. One thing I kind of thought about right now is, have you gone to the lower world?
Yes.
That place is kind of scary.
It's spooky down there.
Like, I don't know what the purpose is yet, but I just I'm thinking, should I go down there? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be there yet.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those, and that's like the good thing bad about this game is like you don't know what level. Everyone, tell me what your power level is so I know. Do I have a chance here? Are we talking like Frieza? Are we talking like Raditz? I could take a Raditz. I can't take it a Frieza.
I was going to a Sky Island, and you know how there's like red stuff on the ground sometimes?
Yeah.
When you're near a crater or something, and it just poisons you. And that's it.
Right.
But around this, I don't know where I was, but I think I was either near a shrine or near a sky tower. And these hands came out of the ground.
I saw that. I thought you were talking about something else, but now I did see that Freakazoid.
And I was like,
that was a big old Freakazoid.
I was I'll run it, but I couldn't.
No.
I have no idea how I got away.
But I did not. I can tell you right now, I did not. And that sucker was far. When I saw him, like, what the fuck? And I was just kind of like, oh, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, why is the music changing?
Yeah. Oh, because it was like, I'm like, oh, it's the blood moon. And then...
Oh, I thought that's what I thought for a sec, too. It was not.
That was scary. That's been the scariest thing.
Yeah, it freaked me out for a second. Like,
and then the other thing that scared me was I was near a tree and it attacked me.
Oh, the tree. That was fun. I was kind of like, oh, okay.
I feel like I was in One Piece. But yeah, it's been really cool. I wish that I was playing it right now. I was like, yeah, I'm just so mad at my work because
stupid work.
Because I had this whole idea that today was gonna be my last day of work for the week. And then they come out with this stupid thing. So like, don't make plans because we're working Friday, and I'm like, oh no, that changes everything. So yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. I think I don't really have any negative thing to say about it besides the hard to control when you're building stuff, and I don't like the orangey theme that was on early on. Oh, one thing, because I don't know if you noticed, I was watching the video when I first got here, and the opening just starts, huh? Like the game.
Yeah.
When you first turn on the game, you don't put like.
Yes, there's no start. Welcome to Zelda, new game or load options. It's just like a very cinematic film thing.
Yeah, it gave me.
It's like the black. It's just back screen with the little text, Legend of Zelda.
And then it starts. I'm like, oh,
right.
I'm on.
You're on. Step up to the mic.
Like this.
Looking for the hero.
We've been waiting a long time. We're not gonna keep making wait. It reminded me of Final Fantasy 13 because I had that whole like when it said Tears of the Kingdom.
Wait, which one's 13. Took me a second.
Yeah.
Which one's 13?
Yeah. So I was watching that one. I was watching that opening, like, oh yeah.
Damn, I guess so.
I forgot how good this opening was. But yeah, it's been great. I know it's kind of. I feel like I need to say something better than it's great. It's just I don't want to spoil the.
Well, that's the thing. It's still early on, but I know we have a podcast coming up, and I know our schedules are going to be busy, so this is like our only chance to do this, talk about it. But hopefully next episode we'll have another chance to talk about it further, and hopefully we'll have a couple more people on the show who've also been playing the game, so maybe there's some things we forgot and haven't got a chance to talk about, and plus we'll get further in ourselves, so maybe we'll have some more juicy bits to talk about, and then maybe at some point we'll have like an official spoiler episode, but we'll see what happens. We'll have to play it by ear because we got a lot of things going on the podcast as well. Don't forget we got to do our review season at the end of the month, Frank.
Wait, that's already gonna.
You got a little bit of time, Frank, but not too much time. I think we're looking at July 1st. Looks like our potential part 1 of review season.
As long as it's
so not super soon, but don't sleep on it just yet, Frank.
I like to watch it last minute, like how I used to do my homework.
It's doing 1 hour, more than enough time.
Who needs sleep?
That means I got 15 more minutes to sleep, says Frank.
Yeah.
So real quick, I guess, I agree. I'm having a good time. A couple little minor complaints, but nothing that is significant that makes me not feel like, I'm mad. I dropped Advance Wars and Fire Emblem and put this game in front. But no, I'm happy that I did. I think it's done enough changes, and I look forward to playing more and more and more until. I don't know. And then the promise it's going to end, Frank. And then what am I going to do then, Frank? I'm going to have Zelda withdrawals already. I can feel them already.
No, you don't even like Zelda.
This is, well, you never know, Frank. Maybe this will be the one that changes my mind.
What? I mean, it might sound weird, but like sometimes I just turn it on and I just look at his hair. I'm like, damn,
some good hair.
It's good hair. Like,
now, what if it was red though?
I should cut it. I should cut it that length and dye it, and I don't know.
Cosplay. You got the sleeve, Frank. We're halfway here.
I have some hats, and I don't like putting them on because I'm like, can't cover that hair.
And those gorgeous locks? No, let them flow in the wind.
Yeah, man.
The Tears of the Kingdom are when you put on the helmet. Those are sad.
They messed up in the title. This one should have been Breath of the Wild because he has a more wild look.
Right. Yeah.
The other one should have been Tears.
I could see that. There's an argument for it. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens in the big story stuff, and the improvements have good potential. Hopefully they can follow through though. But we'll find out.
I'm wondering if they're gonna completely disregard Age of Calamity, or if they're gonna integrate it. So
that's a good question. Usually when I see that stuff, the answer is no. But we'll see. Maybe there'll be a game changer, Frank. Maybe. All right, Frank. I think that is going to wrap up our main topic in our episode for this week. So I want to thank you for joining me, Frank. And like I said, we cut out the fat this week. I only need the best.
Don't say it.
It's all right. They don't listen to the podcast, Frank. Only I listen to podcasts, and it's all right. Everything I say is correct. It's accurate. No crimes were committed. No perjury at all.
No, well, I did.
Just the hard truth here.
I was scared because I thought you were gonna be so negative, and I was gonna be bummed. And
Frank, did you notice the camera shit is 5 degrees slower than it should be? Gotta say, Zelda's still in this game. Oh, all because it's her franchise. She has to be in every game. Oh. Enough. We're tired of you, Zelda. Get a new hobby. Do something else for once. But yeah, thank you again. Let's see. Like I said, we talk about anime stuff next month. Hopefully, have more people on. Check out our social medias, folks. We're on the Instagrams. You want the hot sample? You can check out the beginning of Frank's interest in the significant other. It starts there.
Oh man, are you gonna do another?
We got plenty of material, Frank. Got plenty of material. Just need to capture some Zelda footage and it writes itself.
I gotta stay away from the color red now.
And he's wearing a red shirt right now, folks.
I didn't know you were listening.
Oh no, this goes online? What? When? With that? I thought we were just having a conversation. These microphones
man. You
are for
invited me to hang out in your weirdly structured room.
Yeah, what? These microphones all around. I was like, all right, I guess it must be an art project he's working on or something.
Yeah. I thought it was a COVID related thing that we had to sit like this.
Get 6 feet apart, Frank. Gotta keep it away. Gotta be careful. All right, Frank. Once again, thank you, and thanks for everyone for tuning in, and hopefully you'll check us out next time. Until then, adios.